And here. And the matzo there. Yep.
Half colours in academics, Janine van der Merwe. Honours in swimming, Jessie Smith. With an average of 90% or higher, and top in his grade, Tabissos.
Umama is a new short film. The movie is centered around Sibongile, who is a domestic worker in South Africa and watches over her employer's little girl and maintains their home during the day while trying to stay connected with her teenage son, and has promised to celebrate her son's academic achievements. The movie follows the life of Sibongile and her son. And to share more on the film, we are joined by director Talia Smith and actor Malibongwe Mdwaba. Talia, a very good morning to you, and as well as Malibongwe, great having you on the show this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Morning. Thank you so much for having us.
It's an absolute pleasure. Talia, I'm going to start with you. At what point of your NYU course did you start thinking about Umama?
I started thinking about it quite early on. I think because being in New York, the relationship between a domestic worker and myself wasn't as common. And so I found myself trying to explain that relationship to a lot of my peers in America. And in my second year at NYU, I decided that I would write a script about this relationship and just reflect for myself. Mm-hmm. And then my professors told me that I should progress with the script to my final year.
Were you perhaps influenced by something in your past that inspired and conceptualized this film?
Definitely. I actually had a picture of myself and Susan, who the film is inspired by, on my dorm wall, and people would ask me about her and who she was. And the more I would describe her, it was hard for me to just describe her as a domestic worker, because she was so much more than that. She was like a second mother. And then I started to remember the day that her son was killed. And so I thought it was important for me to reflect on that moment.
All right. Now, Malibongwe, let me also bring you in. Welcome. Tell us about the character that you play.
Yeah. So I do play the character of Tabissos, who is the son to Susan. And, we meet him in the film, in a rather tricky moment where he's achieving an award, but has, have to face the reality of an absent mother figure. So I think this is a story really that will hit to different people in different ways throughout South Africa and the world.
Mm. Who is this Tabissos character? I mean, how is he? Do you see yourself in him? Do you strike a resonance with him?
Definitely, man. I mean, I throughout, I grew up also in Khayelitsha, and I am fully aware of all the themes that are running through the film, having an absent parent figure in some way or the other, and having to really try and push through all of that. So this character really came at a place where I was also now, asked to heal from those moments and sort of see the bigger picture. I mean, I've always been crystal clear about the kind of narratives in which I want to tell, and these are narratives of this nature where, the ordinary people are really recognized and illuminated.
Yeah, and I see that you've worked alongside bigwigs in the industry, with the likes of Umama. How was it working with Komi?
An absolute pleasure. An absolute pleasure, man. I mean, I was a bit scared, especially during the pre-production. But as we went into the whole process, I saw a figure and also a mother who was also just there to hold my hand in moments and when I wanted to, give different offers to the performance, she was also there just to play. So I never felt like, here's this big star, so here I am as a young one. So I really, really felt seen. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Talia, back to you. What roadblocks did you face during the production of the film?
Wow, there was a lot of roadblocks, but it taught us a lot, and I think they make for great stories. So, on the morning of filming, our first day of filming, we got a call that the baby who was supposed to be in the film was sick, and so at 6 a.m. we had to find another baby, and then there was another instance where we needed to shoot rain on a window, and there was no water that day. So we had one of our crew had to spit water onto the window. So when you see that,
What?
But it made us a better crew for it.
Jeez, man. And are you at all satisfied with how your film is received? Did you imagine it this successful?
Not at all. I'm completely over the moon, and I think, you go into the film really wanting just to make sure that you're honoring the stories that are being told, and then to get that kind of recognition from different establishments and such high esteemed establishments, it really validates not only those stories but the talent that we have here in South Africa.
Now, Malibongwe, how rigorously did you have to stick to the script while shooting?
First of all, I'm really glad that we had Talia as a director, because time and again, some directors can be a bit tricky when it comes to that. But she was really, really open to a level of play and a level of my creativity and what I have to offer the character. So I could add here and there, but not too much, because remember, it is a short film, so you want to keep everything tight. But yeah, there was a level of play here and there. And I think also with Mamkoni as well, we both spoke about every scene and what our intentions are with each line and with each beat. So yeah.
In the whole film, Malibongwe, what was your toughest moment to get into character, or the toughest scene you had to play out?
I think the toughest scene, and not to give away the story, but it's towards the end, where we are in a mortuary. And I was thinking constantly about my mother, because I know that she is she's a bit on the fence when it comes to like anything that has to do with the mortuary, coffins, and all of those things. So I was quite worried about, okay, cool, I'm seeing her in my head right now, and I'm worried. And only to find out when the thing was playing, she actually texted me and said, "Why didn't I give her, like warnings?" So I found that a bit hard, but I was, because of my training, obviously in drama school, I have the tools and I know how to get into a moment and get out of it without even hurting myself in the process.
All right. Now, Talia and Malibongwe, thank you so much for joining us. And Talia, how soon are we likely to see the film on the big screens?
Yeah, the film is out. You can go onto YouTube or onto our Instagram at Umama_film, and you can get the link and watch it.
Great stuff. Talia and Malibongwe, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, film director Talia Smith and actor Malibongwe Mdwaba, whose latest film Umama was shortlisted for a student BAFTA and won gold at the 2020 Student Academy Awards.